Here we go. Hello, Mairi.
Hello, Sven.
How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good. I'm here in Edinburgh on a beautiful sunny, what month are we in? April day.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
feels like May.
it feels like May. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, indoors, apart from my allocated exercise a day, which at the moment is swim in the sea, which is amazing. I can do that. Or rather, I'm doing it anyway, whether I'm allowed to or not.
Yeah, I live
But yeah,
very close to you. I live down at Marlborough Street, but I didn't live there. I stayed there because Alice was there, my now wife, but then girlfriend. And when we came by, it was always like, hey, and the ocean was so close there. It was beautiful. I loved it.
yeah, that's right. So I'm doing good. I'm really well. I'm enjoying this time of stopping, I suppose. Feels like a more natural human coming back to yourself, I suppose. Is there some sort of essential thing that's going on at the moment? Turning in.
It's like the nature. It's like the nature in the city. Like when I was walking around here, and I have not far from where I live, there's a pathway sort of in between some houses. Not a lot of people knows about this, but it's like the birds had taken over now. Blackbirds everywhere, robins, and it's just there's so much life going on. It's quite beautiful. But you have prepared something for me.
Yeah, I have prepared an improvisation.
That sounds like a treat. I will mute myself then.
Okay, you mute yourself, uh, and I'll take these off. So I'll just give myself a little bit more space. Now I want to see. So this is for you, Sven, especially for you. Let me just check that I've got things are in right. And your sound is about the same. I want you to see the stone. This is a beautiful stone. Okay, there we go. Oh, now I've got to get up again because my fiddle's in the table. Sorry for all the faffing. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. That was the power of sound is so. There's something going on with your body. My body was just floating. Suddenly, at one point I was going on ice, and it felt like very cold. And thank you. It reminded me of a story. So, if you want to hear one,
I'd love to.
we have to go up to the northern part of Canada, and in that there was a young boy, and he was always hungry, always. And he told his grandmother, "I'm going out to find some food." So we went out in the snow there, and he went down to the ocean, and he caught himself a heron, and he ate the heron. Then he caught himself a salmon, and he ate the salmon. Then he caught himself a seal, and he ate the seal. 2 whales, and now he was quite full. There was a big lake, and he drank it. He couldn't walk now. He was rolling. He was rolling. He was so enormous fat that he rolled home to his grandma. Grandma was sitting, waiting for him. By the little lamp was a little fire. And then she saw this rolling boy coming towards the house, just falling in. And he tried to get into the door. He couldn't. He tried to get into the window. He couldn't. He had to slip in through the chimney. And as he did, she saw what was coming for her. So she ran out of the house. And this boy just rolled into the flame, and the last thing that the grandma heard just before she was pushed down to the ground was a big explosion. And when she turned around, there was a big lake. And in the lake was a herring, a salmon, a seal, and 2 whales.
Oh. Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Just outside my window now, there's a cloud looking like a horse galloping. It doesn't have a lot of speed, but it's a horse galloping. But now it's transforming again to become a lobster.
Ah, that's right. I always remember your horses. Your horses are big. Your horses are like my stone.
Mm.
I've been drawing my stone. That was a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Yes. Just I do them every day, many, many, many. Like you did with your horses. It's like the stone and the things we've put on it, but that's not really relating to your story. But I just wanted to do these pathways, the journeys.
Wow. They look nearly the same, but they're all. It's very different. The other one.
They're all different. They're all
Totally.
different.
There was another expression. There's something going on there. That's,
And how you interpret it and what you see. It's like looking at clouds. It's like, what do you see in the clouds? You know, everyone is sort of different. Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know.
It's beautiful. It's
We're
lovely.
both.
Suddenly
we're
it's
both sort
good. It's like the dimensions are sort of crawling in to become like this. Instead of this big, huge space, you have these small, small variations of stone. It goes a little bit. There's a little tighty
Yeah.
difference
Yeah.
between where it is. It's old.
Yeah.
It's a long, long.
It's
story.
old. It's a long story. That's right. Oh man.
Oh man.
Story is becoming more and more fascinating to me. So deep. Like that story you just told me, it nearly made me cry.
Oh.
You know. It's
Yeah, it's
really
a
like,
sad story, and it's there's something about these stories from these cold places and the darkness.
yeah.
There's a madness in them that's we don't. Sometimes when I was teaching storytelling at the high school in Copenhagen, I gave them some of these stories, and I remember specifically one of them read it, and she turned the pages around, like she looked at me. Where's the ending? What happened to the ending? And I said, that is the ending. You're just reading the ending, but it feels like, because we don't have this, and then they lived happily hereafter, or whatever, that sort of wrapped up thing. It's always like, whoa. But I actually had prepared something for you, Mara. You want to hear it?
Wonderful. Yeah.
It's another story.
Great.
And I hope it will inspire you to do something for me.
No doubt
But
it will.
this one is, I dedicate this to Unity Oliver, a Namibian actress, which was part of a project I did in 1991 when we were traveling around with theatre in Namibia and in Denmark. And Unity, one of the things, we called her Pepsi. One of the things was that she was not the smallest of the people in the world. She was quite big. But you should see her dance, Mairi. You would have been enchanted by it. This beautiful big woman, in a moment she heard the sound of the drum, she just went, everything was just so beautiful, and just rhythm. She was just dancing. And this story is dedicated to her. It was a man who dreamt a dream. And when he dreamt the dream, he dreamt that on the other side of the Twin Mountains there was a little valley. And in that valley, everything was green. There was a silver thread where the river was. And he had this dream of fruit trees, green grass, a cow, some goats, and he could feel the milk from the cow coming into his mouth when he woke up and said, family, we're going to move. We're not going to be here anymore. In Namibia, it is like this. You walk around in Namibia, travel around in Namibia, and suddenly you find a sign saying that here is a river. And then you look around and you can't understand it because it looks like a pathway or something like that. Dry. That's the way rivers are in Namibia. It's only once a year there are water in it, and that's just after the rainy season. So this river, as he explained, this man, is full of water year in, year out. We can swim in it, we can fish, and the fruit are just there. But the grandmother in the family said, did you see anyone else in the stream beside of us? No. He said, no. What are you talking about? No, she said, I feel there's something going on here. Can you explain to me? Well, there was this little man. He was quite ugly, and he had a very ugly voice. But it didn't mean anything. But the grandmother said, that's a wizard. The wizard made you dream that dream. And then he said, a wizard? Oh, I don't believe in those. And if there are a wizard, I will fight him with my spear. Let's go. And they took off, gathered all the things, went over the twin mountains, and on the other side there was a beautiful valley. Beautiful. Green pastures, grass, fruits. You know, these kind of fruits, when you eat them, you get wet. Down here, that's the whole meaning of the whole thing. And it doesn't matter because you can just jump into the river and wash yourself. Water, the clear water, always running. And the sound of the river, always. He built a little cottage there and the family was happy. Every morning they woke up in paradise. But one morning, he woke up and there was a silence. The river, the sound of the river was gone. And he walked out there and it was like, everything was already like it was drying. You could see the fruits going like it was dying. And the cow was already, the sound of the cow was already different. It was like that river have given water to the whole area. And after a few days, the children came to the father. Father, do something about this. If there's a wizard, go and fight him. You told us that you would fight him. But it was like the father was just sitting there like he was already beaten. I can't do it. I can't do it. But the grandma, big, huge grandmother with a big hip, large, big. That was something there going. And she woke up one morning very early, took a big rope around her wrist, her big stomach, tied bottles all around her to this rope. And then she had her dress over all of these bottles. And then she walked. She walked upstream, what was upstream before, now totally dry riverbed. And then she came. It was nearly noon, noon in Namibia, that's dry. And then she saw this dam, like it was magic, because water was already coming like a lake behind it, but every time the water grew like this, the dam grew like this. It was magic. There was something going on. It was the work of a wizard. And as she stood there, and she leaned forward, and she was about to have just a sip of water, and then he came, the wizard, small man, very ugly, with a very ugly voice. What are you doing here, old woman? Why are you here? Where is your little boy? You scared him, she said. You scared him so much that he's not coming. But I am here. And what I will do for you is I will dance for you. And then, out of magic, came the sound of the drums. Gum, 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 da, gum. And as the magic came, the sound of the drums, she started moving her body. Ba, da, gum. Oh, yes. You hear it? Wow. The magic of the drum, and it was just going. And she jumped into the water and made sure that all the bottles were filled with water. You could see it first they were floating, and then whoop, and as they were all filled with water, she moved back, and he was just enchanted. He was just seeing all this big body moving like that, and you could hear the drums. Why did you hear the drums? Hey, come on, Ken. But then, suddenly, she was gone. She ran down to her grandchildren, took care of that none of the bottles spilled, and she gave each a bottle and said, take care of it, it's not a lot. But you know, when you're thirsty and you're a child, just drink it. Is there more, Grandma? Is there more, Grandma? Just a little left, please. After a couple of days, there was no more water. She went to her son and said, you have to deal with this. I have to go and fight him. And it was like this river, dry river, had taken every power out of him. He was just sitting there. I can't do it. Well, then I have to. And then Grandma walked all the way up to the dam again, and here he was. Ah, you're not going to run away from me now. No, said Grandma. When the drum starts again, I will dance, and we will dance together. And she lifted the wizard up, and she started dancing with him, and he was totally, oh. And there was this big body, and it was dancing, and suddenly there was the sound of the drums, and it was going, goom, 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 goom. And she went into the water, still dancing, and she held him under the water. And as he died, the dam exploded. It was like it disappeared. Magic. And the water came. And she, of course, wheeled into the water. She always wore this strange piece of cloth, red cloth, that she always took on her head, and that swam away. And she nearly drowned, but the love of her grandchildren just kept her alive. And she was following the river downstream, so she got onto the shore. And as the children heard the sound of the river first, they jumped into the water, saw it was brown first, and then they started drinking, but then a silence. Because they saw the red ribbon just, and they thought that the grandmother had given the life so they could drink. But then suddenly they heard the sound of the grandmother's voice coming from above there, down the river. När vi sampis I floden var solens skinnat delen på en afrikanerkone som kärlek, musik och sang. Mama kujo, mama kujo, mama kujo för sefulla. Mama kujo, mama kujo, mama kujo för sefulla.
Mama kujo, mama kujo, Shamalone, shamalole. Longe, na der kommer jag till att gå på sig. Ja.
ja, wow. Now I know I yet oh what you want. Oh yeah, todo cata yes. Wow, that's a yeah. Yeah, now can't so. Oh yes, now oh can you the woman. Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was lovely. That was lovely.
Thank you, Mairi.
So nice going back and forth.
Yeah, that was wonderful. It was just.
That's what it needed. I was at the end of it. I'm going, I don't think I've quite finished yet. There's something else needed. And you just opened up a lovely...
It was just there. Thank you so much, Mairi. Have a lovely
thank you.
afternoon.
Yeah, you too, Sven. Thanks so much.
Cool.
Heartwarming.
Yeah, really was. Something was going on there. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.